I wouldn't put it out of the complete realm of possibility, but it's probably more of a number 3, number 4 starter there. Very good player, guy should be owned in most dynasty leagues. A guy that I own everywhere is Gordan Graceffo. He is a right-handed pitcher. He's in St. Louis. He's in Double-A. He is 22 years old, 14 innings pitched, obviously 2 starts, but that's pretty damn good, right? So that's averaging 7 innings a start. 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 12 strikeouts, no walks, and for the season, 75 and a third innings pitched, a 1.67 ERA, 9.3 strikeouts per 9, and get this, 72 walks per 9. So he's just not walking anybody. And I write in my tool summary that it's one of the breakout pitchers this past season who showed an improved arsenal with elite control. I mean, that is 70, 80 grade. Well, it's under 1 a walk per 9 is 80 grade control. I doubt that's going to last in the big leagues, but I mean, this is a guy who has pinpoint control, who is now sitting more 93 to 94, which, is I think the average fastball now is 93.5, so it's average, slightly above average fastball, but it's good secondary pitches, and the fact everything plays up because he can paint the black. So I've got this guy sitting as a number 3 starter, and there could be some noise here as we get into the second half of the season. Boy, that's weird to say. Second half of the season that we see him with the Cardinals. Very, very interesting prospect. Number 20 is Owen White. He's a right-handed pitcher. He's with Texas. He is in High A. He is 22 years old. 6 innings pitched, 7 hits. Let me just make sure we're recording okay, which we are. Should have checked that a long time ago. He's right-handed pitcher with Texas in High A. He's 22 years old. 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts, and a walk. And for the season, 58 and 2/3 innings, a 3.99 ERA, but 12 and a half strikeouts per 9 and a 3 walks per 9. He is finally healthy and is showing nice starter arsenal, a chance to be a number 3 starter. He was signed in the second round in the 2018 draft. As soon as they signed him, he immediately had Tommy John surgery. So this is a guy that's still, so he had Tommy John surgery in 2018, missed all of 2019. Then you got the pandemic, and then he comes back last year and pitched a little bit. So this is really the first time we're actually seeing this guy fully healthy. And, I mean, he's showing some pretty good stuff. There's some funk in his delivery. So I think it's going to make it even harder to square. I think it's a starter profile. I think there's enough athleticism for me to hang a number 3 starter on him. Last guy was what caused me to delay my podcast recording until today, and that is Nick Nastrini, who I got a chance to talk to somebody live, which I don't get a chance that often. One of my agency friends who scouts for another agent has had a chance to see this guy, and he didn't get back to me till late last night. So in fact, I was already sitting in bed. I had to get up and take the call. So anyway, 4 and 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 9 strikeouts, and 3 walks for the season. 39 and 2/3 innings, a 4.76 ERA, 14 and a half strikeouts per 9. And here's the kicker: 5.2 walks per 9. He does play for the Dodgers, though, so keep that in mind. He was a 4th-round draft pick back in 2021. Look, the arsenal is ridiculous. He can hit the fastballs the upper 90s. He's got a great splitter and a pretty good. Wait a minute. I'm reading my notes. He's got an upper 90s fastball with great movement, so it's probably a high spin rate in there. A slider that's his true swing and miss pitch, a show me curve, and a splitter that shows promise of being a plus pitch. So we've got a double plus fastball, a double plus slider, probably an average, maybe in a below average. That's what show me curves. I'm writing exactly what the guy told me. And a splitter that shows promise of being a plus pitch. So we're talking 3 plus pitches and a 4th show me pitch. I mean, that doesn't get much better. That is an arsenal of a top of the rotation guy. He's athletic enough to repeat his delivery, but the guy said he just doesn't. He gets out of sync, and when he gets out of sync, it struggles. In fact, he says that more guys he gets more visits out of the bullpen and from his catcher than any pitcher that he has seen this year. That just really struggles to repeat his mechanics. But he says it's all there for him to be a guy that it can at least be a mid-rotation starter or a very effective high leverage reliever. This is directly from somebody that does this for a living. I haven't seen it, but I do own Nick Nastrini in a couple of leagues. Picked him up as a add-in primarily because I knew the stuff was crazy. I knew he was athletic, and I knew he played for the Dodgers. So I'm hoping that the combination works. And at worst, he becomes kind of a Gratterall, Bruce or Gratterall type of talent, a high leverage guy in the bullpen. The Gratterall's problem is Nastrini throws as hard as him, but the fastball is moving better. Gratterall's big problem was his fastball was and is still a very flat pitch. Let me take our final break, get back. Oh my gosh, we're at 50 minutes already. It's going to be an hour-long podcast. A lot of guys. Pick and choose a couple of these guys. I don't want to go through all 21 again. Elehuris Montero, Elehuris. Think he got the call. I don't know where he plays. I think there's talent there. Francisco Alvarez, everybody knows who he is. Ceddanne Rafaela, Ceddanne Rafaela, Rafaela. He's an outfielder with Boston and an exciting player, one of our 2022 pop-up players with speed and high contact skills. Classic leadoff guy. Curtis Mead, best hitter in the Rays minor league system, which is saying a lot because that's who they sign and draft, of guys that can hit. Jeremiah Jackson, I think he moves off shortstop, big time power. Everson Pereira, Pereira. It's a tough one to spell. I like this player. Very toolsy. He needs to cut down on his strikeout rate, chases too many pitches, but man, this is a guy that has a chance to be a pretty interesting fantasy player. Vaughn Grissom, Vaughn, like Mo Vaughn. Grissom, Grissom, with Atlanta. And a guy that's got the hit tool and looks like he's got some interesting speed and power. Robert Hassell we know about. Zac Veen we know about. Elly De La Cruz, Ellydde, another word, LA, another word, Cruz. So I think that's good at Fangraphs. That's how you have to actually put it in there. So, sorry, I got a call from my cardiologist telling me my blood work results. My cardiologist is interesting, so I had to put the phone. He's a cholesterol guy. He's obviously had some bad results from cholesterol. So my cholesterol is totally normal, except he wants it to be better. So it's 181, which I think 200 is like, that's where the red line comes up. Mine's like it's good, right? That's good enough. Now got to reduce my bad cholesterol more. So I don't know. Anyway, nobody cares about that. So that's so I was on Elly De La Cruz. So if you go to Fangraphs, you got to type in all four names. Again, Jazz Chisholm level tools, but he really needs approval on his contact and approach at the plate. Who knows? I mean, this guy could be first round draft pick. He could be Tatis Jr. I mean, that is that kind of crazy skill sets, or he might not ever make it. I mean, he's really feast or famine, though he's looking more like feast as we go along here. Addison Barger, Barger, shortstop with Toronto, improved contact skills. Make sure I started the podcast up again. I did. Has shown a little bit more power this year, which I think is good. Blaze Jordan, huge raw power, learning to make better contact. Very interesting guy. Eddinson Paulino, Eddinson, Paulino, Paulino. Look, there's no true carrying tool. He's probably going to be a utility guy, particularly in the Boston organization, but he can hit. And if you can add a little bit more power, he could turn into a full-time regular. Harry Ford, catcher with Seattle. I think this guy has a chance to be a very fascinating fantasy player because there is double plus speed at catching if he stays a catcher. Last two guys are complex league guys. Iverson Leonardo, Iverson Leonardo, Leonardo. He's already 21 years old. We need to see him in full season ball, see what he can do. And then Gleider Figueroa, Gleider Figuereo. This is a guy that's walking more than he struck out. He did that same thing in the DSL last year. He's hit 2 home runs already. Concerned about how much power he's going to have, but interesting guy, another guy to keep an eye on. DL Hall with the Baltimore Orioles is our first pitcher. Great stuff, cannot throw strikes. A little concerned about his health. Logan T. Allen, not to be confused with the other Logan Allen. He doesn't throw particularly hard, but he's got a great changeup and throw strikes. Gordan Graceffo is one of the real pop-up players this year. I like this guy a lot. He's on a number one of my teams. And he's throwing a little bit harder, and he just never walks anybody. What did I tell you? 0.72 walk per 9. So just a very interesting guy. Check something real quick. Okay, keep going. Owen White, Texas Rangers. He's finally healthy. There could be something there. Guy has a chance to be a mid-rotation starter. And Nick Nastrini, crazy stuff, walking over 5 per 9. This is a guy that you're going to have to trust the Dodgers that they can develop him. So, and that's what I wanted to look up. I incorrectly said I thought Logan Allen was a left-hander. I told you right-hander. He is definitely a left-hander. So my fault there. But back to Nastrini. Crazy arm. If he becomes a high-leverage reliever, I wouldn't be surprised. But he could also pitch at the top of the rotation. So definitely an interesting guy. And just full disclosure, I do roster him in several dynasty leagues. That's it. Went for an hour. I'm probably going to cut down the number of players because I'm trying to keep these podcasts to 45 minutes. But when you've got 21 guys, it's just a lot to get through. Hopefully you enjoy it. Be well. Take care.